Why do some people wake up at 5 a.m., hit the gym, grind for 10 hours straight, and still feel stuck, while others seem to move effortlessly, chasing bold dreams and actually getting them? Nietzsche once said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." This isn't about motivation, it's about desire. And today, I'm going to show you why you don't need more discipline. You need a clearer, stronger why. Let me tell you about two friends of mine. Both wanted to start businesses, same age, same background, same access to tools and mentors. One of them, let's call him Toad, set a routine. 5 a.m. wake-ups, Pomodoro timers, workout, cold showers. He was disciplined. The other, Sarah, didn't bother with any of that. No rigid schedule, no hacks. She just wanted what she was building so badly, she couldn't not do the work. Fast forward 18 months, Sarah's company is thriving. Tunde burned out, shut it down, started over, again. So what happened? Most people think success is about willpower. They think, I just need to push harder, I need to stop being lazy, I need more discipline. But they're solving the wrong problem. Discipline is a tool, but a tool is useless if you don't know what you're building. This is the real trap. People are trying to force themselves toward goals they're not even excited about. They're dragging themselves through routines they saw online, chasing someone else's dream. Here's the truth. You don't need more discipline. You need a vision that pulls you forward, one so clear it hurts not to chase it. And Nietzsche? He knew this over a century ago. Here's what Nietzsche wrote. When we are tired, we are attacked by ideas we conquered long ago. Let that sink in. Most of the time we think we're failing because we're not strong enough. But Nietzsche says, it's not about strength, it's about energy. And energy comes from desire. Because when your desire is clear, you don't have to fight yourself every day. You don't argue with the snooze button. You don't need motivational quotes or productivity hacks. You move naturally. Let me break this down with a simple example. Have you ever stayed up all night binge watching a show? Maybe you were exhausted, had work the next day, but you wanted to see what happened next. You didn't need discipline. You had desire. Now imagine if your work felt like that. If your goal lit you up the same way a good story does. That's what Nietzsche meant. The enemy isn't laziness, it's tiredness from living without clarity, without a deep personal why. We call it burnout. But sometimes burnout is just boredom in disguise. You're not overworked, you're under-inspired. Here's what makes this even more real. Think of the people you admire, the ones who seem disciplined. If you really watch them, they're not pushing themselves constantly. They're pulled forward by something powerful, a vision that matters to them. And it's not always dramatic. It could be the desire to create something beautiful, to prove something, to serve someone. But it's theirs, not something they copied, not something they saw on Instagram. So the key isn't more grit. It's more clarity, because clarity creates energy, and energy beats discipline every time. Short, punchy line to end the section. You don't need to fight yourself every day. You just need something worth waking up for. Nietzsche said, invisible threads are the strongest ties. It sounds poetic, but it's actually practical. What are invisible threads? They're the quiet, powerful forces pulling you through life. Desire, purpose, vision. Not your alarm clock, not your checklist. It's the thing underneath everything. That quiet obsession you don't even talk about sometimes. That idea that won't leave you alone. That's your invisible thread. And when you follow it, work becomes devotion. Time stretches, focus sharpens. But when you ignore it, you can have all the discipline in the world and still feel numb. I knew a guy who built $1 million consulting business. From the outside, he looked unstoppable. Morning routines, meditation, optimized calendar, you name it. But every time I asked how he felt, he'd say, like I'm dragging myself through mud. Why? Because his invisible thread wasn't consulting. It was writing. He used to write plays in college. That lit him up, but writing didn't seem practical, so he ignored it, until everything else started feeling pointless. Here's the hard question. What's quietly pulling you right now that you're pretending not to notice? Is it a business idea? A place you want to live? Something you want to build, but you're scared it won't work? Most people feel stuck because they're trying to force themselves to care about something they don't. They're trying to discipline themselves into someone else's life. But you can't fake gravity. You can only follow it, or fight it. And fighting it, That's what burnout actually is. So here's the shift. Instead of asking, how can I be more disciplined? Ask, what desire have I buried and why? You might be surprised by what rises up. Nietzsche said something else that cuts deep. One must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star. This quote gets shared a lot, but most people miss what it means. He's not saying be chaotic. He's saying don't suppress the raw, messy, real parts of you. That chaos, that's the source of your best work, your vision, your energy, your edge. The problem is, we're trained to shut it down, to clean it up, to be professional. But when you sanitize your chaos, you lose your spark. Have you ever met someone who's too polished, every sentence rehearsed, every post curated, and it's boring? You can't feel them. Now compare that to someone who's raw but real. They might stumble, speak with passion, mess up, but you believe them. That's the dancing star. It doesn't come from perfection, it comes from chaos turned into clarity. You can't be magnetic if you're hiding your fire. Let me pause and ask you something. What part of yourself have you been hiding because it felt too much, too intense, too ambitious, too emotional, too weird? That's probably the exact part that holds your power. We keep trying to fix ourselves when we should be following ourselves. Here's a self-check I use on myself. If my vision doesn't scare me a little, it's probably not mine. It's probably a safe version, a copied dream, a polished shell. You might be wondering, okay, but what if I don't know what I want yet? That's fair. Most people don't. But that's not a discipline issue. It's a curiosity issue, a permission issue. You have to let yourself want things again. Discipline is loud, but desire whispers, and you only hear it when you stop shouting over it. So here's your task. Forget the habit trackers for a minute. Put down the goal lists and ask, what do I want badly enough to get messy for? What do I care about enough to look stupid chasing? Because once you find that, you won't need more discipline. You'll need a seatbelt. You don't need to control your chaos. You need to aim it. Let's get real for a moment. Ignoring what Nietzsche teaches us here comes at a cost, not just missed goals, but a deeper kind of loss. I know someone, a close friend, who chased discipline like it was a trophy. They woke up early, hit the gym, checked every box, but underneath, there was no real fire, no clear why. After years, the spark died. They felt empty, lost, like a ghost moving through their own life. The truth, they had disciplined themselves into a cage. Nietzsche said, the snake which cannot cast its skin has to die. As well, the minds which are prevented from changing their opinions, they cease to be mind. This isn't just about habits, it's about growth. If you don't honor your desire, you stop evolving. You suffocate your potential. And that's a painful death, not physical, but a slow fading of your own soul's light. This is the real price of ignoring desire. Burnout, confusion, regret, and worse, living someone else's life. So let's recap. 1. You don't need more discipline. Discipline is just a tool, not the engine. 2. You need a clear burning desire, an invisible thread pulling you forward. 3. You need to stop hiding your chaos. Your real messy self is where your power lives. Here's one thing to do today. Ask yourself one simple question. What do I want so badly that I'd gladly get messy chasing it? No judgment, no shoulds, just honesty. Write it down. Let it sit with you. Watch how it shifts your energy. Because Nietzsche reminds us, become who you are. This isn't just a call to action, it's a call to exist fully, to own your desire, your vision, your chaos. Let me leave you with this. Desire is the compass. Discipline is the map. Without the compass, you'll wander. So, what desire have you been ignoring? What invisible thread are you ready to follow? Drop a comment below. I want to hear your story. If this video helped you see things differently, hit like. Subscribe for more grounded, honest conversations. Turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next. Next time, we'll dig into how to turn desire into action without burning out. It's going to be real. Stay curious. Let me know if you'd like to break it into slides,